Hi, welcome to this video. I know you may go through a difficult process in your life, or maybe you've been through a difficult process in your life. Today, I'm going to tell you my story, my testimony, my before and after. And this is my story. I know you may identify yourself by watching this video. You might identify yourself with this, and I promise you, this is gonna help you, and this is gonna change your life too. And I know it changed mine. And why do I tell this story to you guys today? Because I know there's a lot of you that went through this process already, or maybe you're going through this process that I went through. And I know it's difficult sometimes. I know sometimes you feel alone. I know sometimes you feel lonely. I know sometimes you think that the world, you cannot understand how your life is going through, why you're going through this process, and why your emotions are so intensive, or why you're going through these difficult things. So let me tell you my story. Before emotional intelligence, before I felt so irritated, I felt lonely sometimes, and I felt that my life is going to the end. There's a lot of times that I thought I couldn't make it. I thought, I didn't feel that I can make it through this process. There's a lot of times that I asked myself, who I'm gonna ask for help? I wish somebody came to me and talked to me the way I'm talking to you right now, that understood me through the process I went through. But unluckily, nobody understood me. Sometimes I told people the way I felt, and some people laughed at me, and some people said, they couldn't understand me. And I don't blame them, because they may not experience that process that I went through, or they just couldn't understand what I was talking about. So here's my testimony. So there's a lot of times that I felt that I was so irritated, but I couldn't understand why. Or maybe I felt there was a time when I was in school, and I don't know if you knew, but I haven't told you that, but I came from another country. And when I came to the United States, and my first day of school, I couldn't speak English. And my emotion, I don't know, I felt like I wanted to run away. I wanted to go somewhere else. So I didn't know it was my emotion that was attacking me, that was telling me, hey, you don't belong here. Or but that's just an example. But there was a lot of times after my first girl was born, I went through a process where I couldn't understand why I felt so alone. And I had everything what I needed. I had a house, a place where to live. I had some material things. I had my first car. I had a wife and everything you could have wished in life. But still, I couldn't understand why I felt the way I felt. And then one day, my wife brought to my attention this skill, which is emotional intelligence. So before that, like I said at the beginning of the video, I felt so irritated easily. I can get irritated because, for example, if I couldn't finish something, I was so irritated. Or maybe at the middle of something, I get irritated so easily. Or maybe when I hear something like a bad news, when I hear something that happened to somebody related to me, like a brother, my mom and dad, so I get sad, like very sad easily. And sometimes I wanted to cry, and with no reason. Or at work, when I was doing something, I started thinking, my mind started thinking, and I couldn't control it. So I didn't know. Nobody told me about, any emotion, or is that normal? I couldn't understand anything until, like I said, my wife brought to my attention about that skill, it's an excited skill, which is the emotional intelligence. And then I understood how important it is to get to know yourself. It's important to understand that sometimes it's okay when you feel those emotions, like when you're sad, why you experience that, what contributes to that emotion. Like, for example, if you get irritated so easily, maybe it's because someone you work with, or maybe you didn't have breakfast, or maybe because we're so different, we're not the same. So that's why it's very, very important that you get to know yourself. And how I started that process. First, I started get to know that skill, which is emotional intelligence. So I couldn't understand at the beginning. I thought, how is this gonna help me? I mean, how? But then I started enrolling to a school online, and then that's how I started, getting to know myself and understand why those emotions, bothered me for a long time. And then I started to get to know myself, why I get so irritated, and why I felt those emotions before, and what I could have done if I knew how emotional intelligence can help me to go through this process. Not that I don't experience those emotions anymore. Of course I do. We can't get rid of those emotions. Those emotions, they're gonna be with us until the last day of our life. They're gonna be with us, period. But what can we do? How can we react when that emotion present, or when that emotion, when you feel that emotion? What can you do to prevent of getting irritated, of getting sad? What can you do? So I started doing some activities after I got to know myself. For example, myself, you may laugh at this, but I have a kind of like an exact time for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So if I don't eat anything like at 12 or 1 o'clock, I get so irritated sometimes. So I knew that because I don't have my lunch at the right time, so I get irritated sometimes. So I knew that. So now I started to have like a snack or something. If I'm on my way to do something, an activity, like if I'm driving and it's time to eat, I better stop to get something, or I have a like a fruit, an apple, banana, whatever, ready at that time, because if not, sometimes I get irritated if the traffic, or so I started involving more in emotional intelligence. So now I can feel when that emotion comes, and now I'm gonna, okay, stop. What can you do now? Stop, don't get irritated, or don't get very sad. This is normal, this is okay, it's gonna be okay. Now I started to get to know myself, and now, wow, my life changed. Now I feel better now. I can do more activities, I can do a lot of things that now, before I couldn't do it, because I was thinking about, oh, why am I feeling this? Why I'm sad? Why I'm irritated? Why I feel these emotions? But now I understand it now. Like I said, it's okay. It's okay to feel those emotions. But what can you do to stop it? That's the thing. It's like when you go into, when you're driving, you see the stoplight, and when you see red, stop. That's the first thing I'm gonna recommend you today. Stop when you feel that emotion, whatever emotion you're feeling, either, at work, even with your kids too. Sometimes we get irritated. Sometimes you work 8 hours, 10 hours, and when you get home and they're your kids, it's there are a lot of emotions. First thing you feel when you get home, you feel that excited emotion to see your kids, your wife. But then after working 10 hours, you can get irritated so easily, when you start doing some more activities. But I recommend you to do some activities when you feel that you're irritated. You can go to You can go, if you like any sport, you can do soccer, you can do football, whatever sport you like. You can distract yourself, and then, you know, that way you're gonna feel better. I promise you, it's gonna help you. It did help me, and I know I'm still doing it now, because like I said, you never gonna get rid of those emotions. But what can you do when that emotion, when you feel that emotion? Because we can feel when that emotion, it's coming, and then now you have to educate your mind to stop and say, okay, what if I stop and do this thing instead of this? So like, that's why I'm giving you the example of the stoplight. So stop at the red light, that's when you stop. And then the yellow one, you think and say, okay, if I'm gonna react this way, I might hurt somebody's feeling, or I'm gonna hurt my kid's feeling, my friend, my wife, my mom and dad, whatever. Now that you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna take this option rather than going this way. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna think what I'm gonna do. What's gonna be the consequence if I don't stop this? If I'm going this way, I'd rather to go this way, and I'm making better decisions. I hope that makes sense to you. Don't forget to leave your comments if that doesn't make sense, so I can explain it in another video. But and why do I talk to you about this emotional intelligence and how it did help me? Because I know you may be going through this process. I know there's a lot of you that maybe you don't have anybody that talks to you about this. Maybe you're going through a process and you don't have a way out. You feel like you don't have a way out, but let me tell you, there's a way out. And I encourage you to start learning about this exciting skill, which is emotional intelligence. How this can help you. It can save a lot of things that you will regret in your life if you don't get to know yourself. I regret a lot of things that, you know, when I get so irritated and I hurt somebody's feeling, and now I understand that I could have done something else, something different to react it better. So now that I have these skills, now I can prevent some things. I know we're human, we still make mistakes, but it's less than what I used to be. I used to be somebody that, you know, if I don't like something, I go right there and say something. But now I think about it, and before I say it, and that's why I'm telling you this story. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you if you're a mom or dad, a student, wherever you are. I hope this can help you, and we'll share more video, more with you guys, and I will tell another testimony with you. And thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.